we were making an effort to do that.
Did you beat yourself up, Dick, for his addiction and not knowing sooner or not knowing what to do as fast as you would have did something different if you just have known? What went through your head? I mean, at this point, I mean, he's been in treatment already. He's relapsed. You pulled him out of school.
We were completely powerless to do anything about his behavior.
Well, he graduated from high school. Wait a minute.
Oh, he went, yeah. He
graduated from high school.
He had almost 2 years of college at university.
Yeah,
we had no idea how he was getting his grades.
It was insane. I mean, literally, like, I didn't even sleep anymore. Like, I'd catch a few hours, and then I would study. I wouldn't go to class for weeks on end. And then I would sit there for like 24 hours straight, eating pills, speed. And like literally, I would learn an entire semester's worth of information.
He went and took his grades and passed.
So you're more out of control. Families more desperate to do something
because they knew something was happening. But like I would try and keep things in line that like the appearance is up. Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
It was.
So what did you guys do to change that? Now we've heard people, some other families here talking today, how that this complete chaos and insanity galvanized them together about, they found a solid ground to stand upon, an even territory with each other, that they could agree, okay, our son is going to die if we don't do something, and what are we going to do? One of the things that happens in Liberty House is when an addict alcoholic lets go of his major defense that is chemical use, other things start to surface. And using the matrix of a 12-step program where they can be safe, they still need a chance to deal with what is surfacing underneath. And I think Liberty House has had success because they're very, very conscious of dealing with what comes up underneath, which is the behavior and the character defenses that people still try to use to keep away from dealing with the reality of being responsible in the world.
The turning point for me was he was in the house about 2 weeks.
Here?
Yeah.
At Liberty House?
Yeah. And he called on the phone. And he said, Dad, I can't stand it here anymore.
Gotta leave.
This is, this is bullshit. I want out of here.
Did you?
And he says, it's beyond me to have to clean toilets and this and that. And I just said to him, I said, well, you have to make a decision. Either you want to get yourself back on track and get back with your life, or you can keep doing what you're doing.
This is the huge turning point, though, because I'd been through other places, and I told them all this different happy horse shit before about how everything's going to be better. I'll take 1,000,000 drug tests, I'll do this and that, and try to set up everything except for me actually going and doing what I said I was going to do. Because, you know what I mean? I would take the drug test for like maybe a couple days, or I go and do this for a couple days, but it just was like grains of sand in your hand, and it just falls right through the cracks. And when they set the boundary, which is, we're not paying for you to go anywhere else, we're not paying for you to have an apartment anywhere else, we're not doing anything else except for this, and that's it, period. And we would have conversations. I'd start the conversation on the phone, I'd be like, listen, I really think it's time for me to move on to the next place. Listen, I'm not going to be able to get back into school, I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do to try and work my magic to get out of here again. And then they would say, no, we love you. You need to stay where you're at now. We think this is the best thing for you right now. I always knew in the back of my mind, my parents love me so much, and that I was not brought up to be this type of person. You know what I mean? And they didn't get like really crazy and overboard and like lock me up anywhere. They didn't do any of that stuff, which I know some people find it necessary to do, but like I always knew in the back of my mind, my parents love me so much and they want the best for me. Why am I doing this to myself? And I couldn't tell you. I didn't know the answer. I mean, I would sit there and I would be like getting high, and I would envision like my grandparents and my parents and everybody sitting in the room looking at me just like this disgusting piece of shit. Like, what are you doing right now? But I couldn't stop.
But at some point in here, though, you and Mary Sue realized that, okay, what we're doing is not working. We have to do something different.
Correct.
And you started doing something different by telling him, son, I love you, I can't help you.
That's the
you
change.
walk out that door, you're on the street.
That's it.
And you started telling him the same thing.
But we were.
That's what opened the door for this life that you have today.
Because I had hit a bottom and then no one was going to bail me out anymore. So I either had to hit the streets or I had to stay here. And I just was like, dude, if I hit the streets, man, it's going to get ugly, dude. I can't do it. You know, I would always say I'm going to do it, you know, just so they would hopefully budge and they would give in because they were so afraid of me killing myself or hurting somebody else.
Our son is going to die if we don't do something.
Correct.
And what are we going to do?
Right.
What led you guys to Liberty House? How did you find out about us?
Well, one of the guys that I've been using with
Yeah.
for a long time, who's also a graduate of this house, was here with 11 months sober. I happened to run into him at a meeting while I was at rehab at,
That's
you know.
how it hooked together. Right?
Yeah, that's how I found you in Liberty House. Oh, what he told me was, you're going to love this place. Oh, it's so cool, blah,
And
blah,
it was
blah.
a very nice place.
And no, he didn't tell me, like, it was a big shocker when I got here. No truck, you know, you can't do what you want to do.
Well, they got a real program at Liberty House. That means you're going to have a
Right,
sponsor.
when I
You're going to
got
go to
here, I was
meetings.
pissed 'cause I
You
felt,
have to surrender.
Yes.
yeah, man. He totally, he pulled the wool over my eyes.
So you
He
came
helped
to
you.
Liberty House. It was a big shocker for you. But you stayed a long time. You graduated. Now you're, what, 10 years sober? 11?
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
And Dick and Mary Sue have been big supporters of the house for the entire time, even after you graduated. And so, you know, what was different about Liberty House than this other place?
Well, it's that stuff I was talking about. I couldn't manipulate my way into getting what I wanted. I couldn't strong-arm my way into getting what I wanted. If I threw a tantrum, it was just that. I was just throwing a tantrum, and then there would be a consequence for that. And if I didn't want to agree with that consequence, well, there'd be another consequence for that. And then it would just keep mounting up until finally I would stop doing what I was doing, make an about-face, and start fixing all the little things I created just by not being able to do what I was supposed to do the first time.
So,
It's just,
I mean,
it's
it
totally
goes from
unbelievable.
one extreme
Yes.
to the complete other with recovery and family and your brother, you're an uncle, you're a son.
I mean, that's why I really wanted to, like, do this and be here, because you can't, I mean, even just sitting here right now, you can't relive this past almost 10 years, and I can't just say, hey, listen, this is how you do it to somebody else. I mean, I can help them along the way, but they got to do it for themselves, because it's been such an amazing process that, like, I'm even alive right now is, it's a total miracle.
I think almost 99% of the people that